Hey guys, welcome to Approach the Nerd. Is your girl Maria Park, and I got my girl who is an ATN co-host who has not been on the channel this year hardly at all, which is really weird to say. But we got Miss Quarter Life Jam. I like to call her Jam, Jammy Jam, whatever. Her channel is below, so please go check it out and like and subscribe. And we are talking Bridgerton season 2. Which
What's up,
was
mother bitches?
which for
Sorry,
me
too
was a
much, too
slower
much.
it was a slower burn. The whole series was a slower burn for me than season 1. Season 1 was like a porno.
Oh my god. See, season one was just that's what so I don't do like romances too often, but like you're halfway into like episode one, season one, and things are heated. So I kind of expected something similar to that in season two, but it just didn't happen. We didn't have like sexy time happening till like near the end of season two. Uh, so yeah, but it was still interesting. Hey everybody! Sorry, I saw a chat.
But no, I'm a big Jane Austen fan. So, and I love Pride and Prejudice, of course, everybody knows, I've loved, there's so many books that she's done that I've loved. But for me, it did have a Jane Austen vibe because I felt like it was the biggest slow burn in the world. Like everybody had problems communicating, connecting. I mean, in last season, I don't know, people were using sex to communicate. Like everybody was banging everybody. We had
And isn't that the way it
LGBTQ.
should be?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part. But I mean, just think about it was to the point where they were having like, swinger parties and orgies and stuff. They
Yeah,
had
there were
all of this
whole
stuff going on.
orgies.
And in this one, it's like, oh, we're having a party. Let's just sit around and think about our lives. And I kind of like you, but I don't think I should like you. And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It was just like, wow, this is like Jane Austen pacing right here. This is a whole Elizabeth and Darcy thing going on in this season, which was interesting. It was very interesting.
It was a complete flip. I mean, but it's cool. I feel like you had like the really steaminess of the first season, but you have the sexual tension of the second season. And I'm wondering if it's probably because first introduction into Bridgerton, you're trying to get in those book readers and you're trying to get in like new people who've never even heard of it, because I've never read the books or anything
I haven't either.
like that. So yeah, and I'm wondering if they brought in that raunchiness just to kind of kick it off and then lull people into like the second season with a more like romantic like tension.
Well, they had this kind of love triangle going on, but the odd thing is that so you had the sisters. We had Kate, who's the oldest, and then Edwina, and then we had, of course, Anthony, who is the oldest brother of the previous season's, I guess, protagonist, who, because his father ends up dying, he ends up inheriting everything, and everything basically falls on him because he doesn't feel like he can like trust his second in command or second oldest brother, and his younger brother, I kind of feel like he feels as an idiot, and sometimes he acts like an idiot, to be honest with you. Yeah. So it makes sense. So everything is on Anthony. And then also Anthony kind of saw what happened when his father died, and how his mother was like literally distraught to the point where he wouldn't even know. She didn't even know if she was going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was giving birth to the youngest, and she was kind of like, just let me die, basically. Save the baby and let me die. My husband's gone. I don't need to be here anymore. Basically,
well, even she even said that because he was supposed to make the call of what to do next, and she was like, he's just a child. He's not Lord Bridgerton. It's like, damn.
Yep. Like, well, damn. But yeah, so he's in his feelings, and so he's convinced himself he needs to get married for obligation because he needs somebody to run the house. Mm-hmm. But he's like, I'm not falling in love with anyone. And as soon as whenever you have a character that starts off that way, you already know they're screwed. You already know the SOL. You're the first one that's gonna fall in love. So, but that's essentially what happens with him and Kate. And him and Kate are the Darcy and the Elizabeth of this. If we're talking Pride and Prejudice, they act exactly. I mean, she can't stand him. She gets on his nerves, but they have that attraction that keeps bringing them back to each other. But the weird caveat to that is they bring in her younger sister, Edwina, who is there to get married. I mean, basically they're basically out to get hitched, because
Yeah.
that's what this story is. Who can get a
Well,
man?
and Edwina's out to get Hitch. Kate's like, I ain't gonna get held down by nobody. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm a badass bitch, don't need no man's.
Yep.
So, but it's also because of family reasons, right?
Yeah.
She they've had problems like in their family with their mom marrying their dad and completely ostracized the older sister, Kate. So in order to be in their grandparents' like good graces and have financial stability, she needed to marry a nobleman.
Yeah.
And
Which is
that,
actually something they didn't tell Edwina. That's
no,
also what's so messed up is that she had
no.
no idea. She thought she was just getting there to fall in love. She did not realize that there was all this pressure behind it.
Hmm. And I
So
will say that Edwina, for the first like half of the series, before all that, um, she was very one dimensional, and I'm so glad to see her like actually grow as a character. You kind of see her lose like that innocence,
yeah.
and come into her
Her
own.
naivete, yeah, she was
Yeah,
very naive, but well,
yeah.
I feel like she took the earrings off. She's like, wait a minute, let me put this down for a
Hold
minute.
up.
What? I mean, I saw her coming out swinging, but it makes sense because Kate is her half sister.
Yeah.
Technically, I don't even, no, not even half. I don't even know if they're biologically related because well, no, they're half sisters
They're by
because
by dad, their father.
same father, different mothers.
Hmm.
So yeah, so basically, their mother, Edwina and Kate's mother, technically married someone who already had a kid,
Yep.
and that's a no-no as well. He was divorced or widowed, and then she moved all the way to India to be with him. So when
Hmm.
she left, she really left.
Yeah.
Like, and then it brought shame on the family. And so yeah, and like her parents are just horrible people, by the way. They're just really horrible, nasty people. But yeah, that the whole love triangle thing still kind of sits weird with me because Edwina never knew she was actually in it. She didn't realize there was an actual love triangle.
Well, okay. So let's take out possibly love triangle, and let's just say they were in a get hitched triangle, maybe. I don't know, a triangle of passion. How about that? Because Anthony was so passionate about. Remember, he had all these like criterias of like this perfect woman with childbearing hips, who was very smart and da 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 da, and who can fucking, I don't know, sew her ass off. Who knows, like what else was on that piece of paper that he was like, oh, she got to be smart. She has to be this, that, and the other. She has to do rocket science before rocket was even a thing. And so he was very passionate about finding a suitable mate. And then you have the sister over there, Kate, who is cock blocking him the whole time. But there's such a huge tension between them, and Edwina's like, but he is the one.
Yeah, he's the one. He's the one I'm
He's the,
destined to be
yeah.
with. I'm like, of course
But
he
I
is.
mean, even then, I don't even think Edwina was marrying for love either. She was kind of infatuated with Anthony, but I don't even think she was really in love until she kind of convinced herself of it.
I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's really interesting too because she was the diamond that year. She basically got convinced, or maybe so the queen got convinced to make her the diamond. So everybody really wanted her, but she set her sights on Anthony. And Anthony was not really he really wasn't trying to get her. Like he wasn't going all out like some of the other students were. He was just like, "Hey, yeah, can we meet?" Like, and here's Kate. No matter what you do, that a-hole is not on the table. It's not on the table. But I think the whole dynamic, though, also, even if it's not a love triangle, it could be a lust triangle.
Yeah.
It was very interesting because Anthony is about what 13 years older than Edwina, and probably a little bit older than Kate, not by much.
Yeah.
So there was already that age gap, and so she is very much Edwina is very much a teenager, and
Hmm.
he is a grown man. And
Yeah.
so that dynamic, it's when you look at it, I know for the time period, that's normal. That's what they
Yeah, I
did.
was going to mention that at the time it's
Yeah.
absolutely normal. Do we remember how old Daphne was when it was cuffing season for her?
Wasn't she 16?
I want to say because there's like a certain age you have to be in order to be cuffed. Because remember earlier, like I don't know if it was Penelope or who was it when they were like, "Oh, you're just too young"
Oh
in the
well, I
first
mean,
season. But there
I don't
there
know.
is
I know. Eloise was trying to eternally stay too young because she did
yeah.
not want to be. She was like, nope.
Well, just that
um,
opening scene with like Eloise was like completely fantastic, of her just completely decked out and everybody's like trying to, convince her to come out, but they don't really want to get like entangled in like what's going to happen, because Eloise is a force to be reckoned with. Absolutely
yeah,
one of my favorite characters, even though not as bright as I thought I would give her credit for, because she didn't realize until the end that her best friend, like Penn, was. I mean, I don't understand how all the signs were there. Like she was at every event. She was at she knew about Marina's situation with her birth. She outed you. How did you not put the pieces together that your friend is up here writing this column and shit? Like,
yeah.
I, sorry,
Like,
that
I
was
felt
that
like they
was
were a little slow in that category. Like, who is the person
yeah.
that actually? But yeah, I was looking it up for the ages. It looks like they fall between 16 and 18.
Okay.
So, but I think Kate, they said it for this season was 27 and
20,
Anthony is 33.
okay, I thought she was
So,
26, but one of those.
yeah, it's
Anyway,
one of
she's
those.
too old
But now
by
I
their
was,
standards.
I mean, I know, like I said, I know I have to separate myself because I know in the time period this is what it was.
Yeah.
But when you look at Edwina and Anthony optically, it's like, wow, you're like doing your little sister. It's so weird. But again, I digress. I love that Edwina, and Edwina is not a stupid girl. She's
No,
not. I
no.
think she saw it the whole time. She was just convincing herself that she wasn't seeing the fact that Kate was attracted to Anthony in the whole during that whole thing.
Yeah.
So it all of that was weird.
She was trying. I really do think she was trying not to see it. I think she was just one of those. Well, because even later on, she was like, "Have am I really this thick? Is this what I missed out?" Because everyone else saw that connection between them, but I think she was more so focused on, her goal,
Yeah.
and her goal was to get this man.
Yeah. And remember Anthony in season 1, wasn't he sleeping with pretty much a lady of the evening, we'll be polite, PC about it, and he was like actually in love with her.
It
And then
was the
she ends up,
opera singer.
yeah, the opera singer, but she was also kind of sleeping around or like, doing things that are
Yeah.
deemed inappropriate for what, his family would accept. But he was like gaga over her. And she actually ends up, I guess marrying a man or getting with a man or getting or engaged to a man that is pretty well off too.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think all of that, like with Anthony, I think everything that happened to Anthony from his dad dying all the way up to him falling in love with this woman and her choosing another man because he couldn't put his status aside. And when the time he decided to go for it, she was like, too late. I feel like
What
that.
is with that with the Bridgerton men though? Because Cole is the same way, right? With
Yeah.
Marina. Marina's gone, married off. She has like 2 kids or whatever, and he goes back to her, which is the only scene we get of her. And he's like, "Don't you ever think about what could have been?" And blah blah blah. She's like, "You need to get out of like this fantasy. I'm married now with kids. Get out of my house."
I am a whole adult.
Yeah.
Like Colin is just an idiot to me. I'm sorry. He really is.
Yeah.
The whole situation with Colin and Penn this season was confusing. It confused me because he
Yeah.
was coming off like he wanted to date her at times, but then
Mm-hmm.
that's and even danced with her. But then when he got kind of like called out by his friends, he's like, "Why would I go with Penn?" And it was like such an a-hole thing,
Yeah.
for him to do.
Penn was completely friend zoned. And at first I felt bad for her, but then I don't know. It's just like her character just became shittier and shittier as a person.
It really did. Like I got to the point where I didn't even like her this season. Like she So, like, let's just talk about her. We'll talk about Eloise and Penn. So, Eloise is a
Mhm.
character who is an activist who thinks all of this is garbage. Why do you have to sell women off like cattle, basically? And Penn's
Mhm.
like, I just want everyone to like me. I just want to be included. I'm here too, and nobody sees me. So, because they can't see me, then I'm going to be Lady Whistledown, and that's basically
Mhm.
what that is. Lady Whistledown is Penn. That's
Yeah.
it. This is how Penn thinks. And when you really start to think about that, she's kind of a bitch. I mean, and like the fact that she would do absolutely anything, hurt anyone to protect her secret, like, is messed up.
Yeah.
Even when the queen suspected that it was Eloise, she was like, well, I could come forward, or I can just write really nasty stuff about her and make her the talking,
Yeah.
laughing about everybody to save my own ass. But then I can say I actually did it for you, and then I'm just not going to be Lady Whistledown anymore. But I mean, I knew that was a crock of crap when the reason that Eloise found out is when she starts talking about all the gossips that she was hearing. You just stand back and listen to all the gossip, and then
Mhm.
Eloise is like, wait a minute.
And she's like,
It's
it's
you.
not bad being a flower on the wall. You can hear all kinds of things like this dude does this and this and this and this. And she, for the first time in the world, like it actually clicked to her. Like, keep in
Yeah.
mind that she was doing this all throughout like the season. She was telling you beforehand, people's business,
Yep.
and you were just sitting there giggling, laughing about it. But now that like kind of your life and shit was not your life, but yeah, your business was like put out there and shit. Now you realize, oh crap, my friend's a bitch.
Yep. Well, even down to the young guy that Eloise actually started liking, and they're really cute. The one that worked at the
Yeah.
print shop. The only reason that Penn even was interfering with that is because she didn't want her to realize she was printing, her paper there. That
Hmm.
she literally was trying to deter her friend's happiness to protect the fact that she was Lady Whistledown.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I found Penn to be a very like despicable character by the end of the season. I really did. I felt bad what Colin said, but I thought about all the stuff that she was doing, and she was airing out everybody's laundry,
Hmm.
like all of it.
Also,
And
like, how much money does Penn have as Lady Whistledown? Because her
seriously,
family, like, her family is in complete financial ruin, and I'm pretty sure all you have to do is like slide something their way. I mean, will they probably question, what's going on? Maybe, but at the same time, like, girl, you're not even looking out for your fucking family at this point. You you're just doing it. Everything is for you. And it's
yeah,
like, I get it, but at the same time, if your family is in ruin and like shit happens to them, you realize that's also your ass, right?
yep. I don't think. I mean, when we saw this, and when the whole engagement thing got, the wedding, should I say, the wedding basically got called off in the middle of it, and all the, basically what was happening all with Anthony's family and how they were affected by that. People didn't want to come to their house. They were
Mm.
throwing a ball. No one showed up to their ball. I mean, they became like the lepers of society. It was like how fast they change. They just turn like that. And I'm like, but it's so weird because they'll do something and then all these same people will be snaking their way back when something
Mhm.
happens. So like, yeah, it's societies like that. I mean, it's very realistic because people will turn
Yeah.
on you. I mean, hell, we got that now. It's called Twitter. Like, but
Just social media in general.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I just feel like it's interesting. But something else that I thought was very question marky is so last season Benedict was it almost looked like he was exploring his sexuality a little bit.
Mhm.
And it just seemed to like do away with that a little bit this season. Like this season, it was just about him being in his feelings that Anthony paid his way into art school. And it was just like I don't know what it is, but this seems like the PG-13 version of Bridgerton. It's like we had the big, you know, R NSFW rating, season one, and now it's like
Mhm.
this is the PG-13. Watch
Yeah.
with caution, So I don't know. I don't want to say it
Yeah,
was
just like
underwhelming
with
though.
that whole like orgy and shit. And now you just have him, oh well, this is art school and you get to see a boob every now and again.
Yep,
Like,
he sleeps with a
okay.
woman a little bit, kind of that
Yeah.
he's touching naked. And
But
it's just
then
like, oh, okay.
yeah, but then again, like we were saying earlier, the raunchiness has been taken out of like it in season two, as opposed to like season one where you had everything. And I really do feel like it's just went in a completely different direction. I don't know if maybe it's because Edwina was like a little bit younger. Maybe it's because there was that huge like ordeal with Daphne and the Duke, you know, her forcing him to give her a baby, because I know there was a lot of like uproar about that. So who knows like why they really downplayed like the sexiness of it.
Yeah. And yeah, I remember in season 1 that was a thing. Like there was a big question of was that considered rape because he did
Yeah.
not want. Yeah, and I mean, technically speaking, if somebody doesn't want to do something and you make them do it, that is the definition of it. So yeah,
Mm.
that is a thing. But now that you're talking about Simon, I noticed that Simon was not in this
Oh
season
my
at
man.
all, and I'm
The
like, did something
sexiness.
happen?
See, that's okay. See, that's why there wasn't any raunchiness, because he was out of it. Like him and his precious eyebrows and his sideburns and that smoldering look. Nah.
And the ability to show your butt cheeks at least every other scene.
Yeah, that's why the sex went away. The sex went with them. But I think
Daphne's
he did
actress was
only
like, "Thank
sign.
God, I was so tired of getting banged." but no,
I
like, I
needed
wonder
those
what
butt cheeks in my life. You don't understand. I needed those caramel colored butt cheeks, and they're gone.
I really want to know why he wasn't there. Like, was there some kind of drama? I mean, obviously, we don't know for sure because we don't work
Yeah.
there. But like, it's just
Technically,
weird to
he
have all
did
these
only sign
references.
a 1 season agreement, I think. But I mean, there was so much um like call for the character. They could have brought him back. Like that's not saying just because you signed like a 1 season contract doesn't mean you can't come back. But
Yeah, it's almost like poor Daphne was just like looming around the house, like, yeah, my man's out on business again. I'm just, I'm just like
there was
walking
the
around.
baby.
I wanted to have a baby, but you saw the baby a little bit, but I mostly spent all my time wandering around the house. Like,
Yeah, getting
you
in
just,
my family's drama. Like, I really think Daphne could have not been there. Like, there were times where she was to Anthony trying to be like
you know,
consciousness of him,
voice
trying to
of
be the
reason.
one with
Yeah.
trying to provide wisdom and stuff. But honestly, it could have been his mom for that. Like, I get they're trying to put in her from last season and things that she learned, and hopefully like Anthony can learn too. But it really didn't feel like there was a need for her here
Nope.
at all. And like you could have taken her out and it could have been the exact same season.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like her being the voice of reason is still interesting considering, how long it took her and her husband to get together. It was like they had all this, it was just messy. So like their whole thing was messy. So yeah,
Well, maybe that's why she was like, "No, I've been through this messy shit, so you should listen to
like,
me. I
don't
understand."
follow my lead, older brother. Like,
Exactly.
but no, I mean it's not like Anthony is a stranger to being messy. I mean,
Yeah.
this like what was it, the Viscount?
The Viscount.
The Viscount Bridgerton. I feel like everybody in that show is messy. The queen is messy. The queen plays dirty.
Yes.
Like, she plays dirty.
Although she seemed a little bit nicer in this season than last season. I don't know. She seemed a little bit more approachable. I don't know.
Except for
Just
when she was talking to Eloise in the carriage, then it was like, oh,
oh
okay, this
yeah,
is the queen. Yeah, she
yeah,
she doesn't play around. But I feel like I don't know. I feel like the one saving grace with the queen is her husband has dementia. I'm
mm-hmm.
assuming it's dementia. I mean, because he's, or dementia or early onset
Alzheimer's. Yeah,
And so he has moments where he remembers her, but he doesn't remember what time period it is. So he's like literally thinking they're getting married. This is her crowning, blah, blah, blah. And
mm-hmm.
I think the one thing that makes her human is how her face is when she sees her husband. You can
Yeah,
tell she's grieving this man who's still very much alive, but not there anymore. And
yeah,
so she's very sensitive. And I think she uses, these social seasons to hook everybody up, and, to find her diamond, in the rough, to amuse herself and to distract herself from the rest of the year when she has to deal with her husband. And I
yeah.
think that is a thing. And when Edwina talks to him and she's like, she's like talking about, basically she kind of like plays along with what he's saying and says,
Mm-hmm.
oh, your wife is getting ready. You don't want to disturb her, blah, blah, blah. And she sees that. And then you actually saw how the queen kind of reacted to her, like, okay,
Yeah.
you're good people. And so my heart does go out to her a little bit because at the end of the day, we did learn that the reason that society is, not segregated anymore, and how people that are of color actually have a standing, or are respected in the community, is because the king married her. And when he married her, the king is not going to be like, you're not about to discriminate against my wife and anybody else without chopping off your head. So, so I love that. I love that their marriage basically brought about this whole, integration.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like
that was a huge thing too, right?
Yeah.
There are people who like fans of like the book series and stuff were upset the fact that it was such an integrated like culture, and they made that mention specifically so you wouldn't be like, oh, there are brown people in here. Oh my God, that's not like historically accurate and a fictional fucking made up like book, about people who didn't wash their asses and shit. So,
but then they obviously don't know their history as well, because if they go out through history, as someone who has a British mother, I know a lot about, the monarchy, and I know the fact that there were brown people in the monarchy too. Yeah. People don't know their history, so it is what it is.
Completely different place. Like our history is not the same as their history.
Yep.
And you see, they become like more integrated. Even the author herself, spoke up about this, like about there being people of color, and she's like, it's not supposed to be historically accurate. She just wants people to see themselves there.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, it's a Shondaland production.
Yeah.
What did you think was going to happen?
Exactly.
Don't be daft. Okay. So I think we had one sex scene between Kate and Anthony.
Yeah.
And like, I remember thinking to myself, wow, they really went for it. Like, technically, I guess they're going by the fact that Kate is not marriageable material, to just have her have sex out of wedlock, because it was like, okay. In the gazebo outside, very uncomfortable with mosquitoes and all this other stuff that is not pleasant.
I mean, romantic, right? Have you ever had sex outside and had a mosquito bite you on your ass? That is like the pure epitome of sexy.
Yeah, but I think it was really funny that like that was that one moment, that one scene. I'm like, if you compare it to season 1, I'm like, by this point she would have been knocked up. So I'm like, I don't know. It was
like
the whole
Daphne and the Duke fucked a lot. They were all over each other.
A lot. Oh my gosh. They had like an extended honeymoon of every episode. I mean, a lot. And when they were taking a break, other people were getting it on. It's like almost, it was an orgy. It really was. Yeah. And I guess they just figured, we just don't want to coordinate and choreograph all these sex scenes this season. We're tired. So let's just everybody be slow about everything. So
didn't they bring on sex experts for like the first season?
I thought so, yeah.
Yeah, maybe they just didn't have them this one. It's like, there's no need. We'll just have like
you should know how to do it in your real life. Just go ahead.
If you don't know how to have sex by now, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Anthony, he looked like a damn predator. like they literally were sniffing each other like dogs in heat, though. It was so weird.
They got so close to each other without actually being able to say, something happened. It was kind of crazy. But like, it's also one of those things where I really dug it. Like, I'm not a whole like romantic TV show movie person, but I did enjoy like the slow burn. Now, did I want some more like sex scenes somewhere else? Of course, because I am a delinquent. But at the same time, I do like the chemistry between them. There were times where I felt like, man, I wish other characters could just like see it and we could kind of like move forward a bit more.
Sometimes you're like, why are you not seeing this? Exactly. Why are you not seeing this? Exactly. I mean, it's literally right there. I don't understand. Well, it's really interesting. I think that this was such an Anthony focused season, though. Like, I feel like so much was focused on him because, like, we saw his trauma over his dad dying from a bee sting, and him having issues over bees. He's like, "Are you get stung by a bee? Are you gonna die?" When Kate gets stung by a bee, he like freaks out.
Yeah.
Like all of this stuff, which tells me that none of the people in this show go to therapy, like, because obviously they have trauma, so
Yeah.
much drama in this show. Like it's crazy. Like just like his mother literally still walks around like a ghost. She's just
Yeah.
accepted it, because of her kids, but she does not. I mean, she's not living. She's not trying to live. I don't think there's ever going to be a time when his mother is going to ever try and get married again,
Yeah.
because
Well, she seems to just be at this point living for her kids.
yep. Which
And
makes me wonder what's going to happen when the last one gets married. Like, what's going to become of her? Like, what, you know what I mean? Like, what's going to happen?
oh, then she'll take
So
care of the grandkids. There's a whole lineage of kids that she can take care
true
of until she dies.
that she dies. This is my role now. But
Yeah.
so let's talk about Lady Danbury. What do you think of Lady Danbury in this one?
First,
I keep waiting for her to go like up and down the aisles, just hitting people with her cane. Like, because she has like this look. I love her. She has this smug look on her face, like, you're an idiot. You're
she
stupid. You're full of
really
crap.
does. And I absolutely love her character. She's one of those characters who's complete badass. And even when even when she's in the wrong, she'll admit that she's in the wrong, but oh no, I'm gonna do some shit to fix this. Like,
I mean, it's true.
but yeah, I'm glad we got to see more of her too, because I didn't expect to see as much of her in this season, because of she was so centered around the Duke last season, right?
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
think she was friends with. Wait, I don't know if Simon is her nephew. But I know she was friends with his mother.
yeah,
So
I don't think
I can't remember if he's her aunt or not from season 1.
I don't think they're technically related, right?
I don't think. Yeah, I think she was just a family friend.
Yeah, I think she's like a
Yeah.
godmother.
Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, kind of a
Yeah.
godmother role. Yeah.
But yeah, her taking the girls under her wing, as she does her just coming forth and doing like just getting together and doing like those sneaky shit that she does, but like in always like a badass way. I love her.
Yeah.
At some point I really did think that she would actually convince Kate to tell him what's really going on, but she didn't for some reason. Like,
I
well,
think she
not
knows
that
how
she
the
didn't,
status
but
is there. It's a status
yeah,
thing, so she knows
yeah.
that would be very hard.
Well, also it's just the fact that like I think she threw the idea out there, but Kate is so freaking stubborn and thought that she like knew how to handle everything. It's like, girl, I get it. This is all the protection of your fucking family, but
Yep.
like at some point I assumed that she was going to throw Kate over her over her leg and just spank her
With her cane. Why are you doing I just well no, like it's so weird to me because like again, Lady Danbury has this way of persuading people to do whatever she wants. And we see this with the queen. Even when the queen knows she's being manipulated, she says something and the queen's like, okay, I'm gonna make Edwina the diamond basically this season. And it's all because of Lady Danbury. And she even said, I chose her because of you, and now I'll have a wedding, and now this is on you. And there's a Lady Danbury was like, well, shiz. And she literally says in this season, for once in my life, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
But then that was so thrilling to her, right?
Yeah. But I just thought it was really interesting. And what's so interesting also is that technically she didn't tell Kate to keep her mouth shut.
No.
But she did suggest that she was going to end up like her, living in a house all alone, too much time on her hands to get in other people's affairs. So she's like, you want to be like me? That's fine. But, you want to live your life, but she just left it there. She just left it like, this is your decision. And I know why she did that, because she tells her what to do. And the girl ends up regretting it. She's going to be like, Lady Danbury told me to confess to you, blah, blah, blah. So I can see why she didn't do it. But at the same time, there was, like I said, everything was a slow burn, and there was so many people that I just wanted to smack. I just want to go on there and like, what the hell? Like,
just shake them,
just shake the hell out of them. I'm like, but I guess for me, I was still more shocked that Kate and Anthony had sex before wedlock, because I thought in this time in society, even though Kate is not on, she's not being paraded for marriage, she's not even a part of the season, it still felt like that was like a big deal to sleep with somebody who could get married later on, and that was like a death sentence, especially for the woman.
Yeah, but when you think about it, like, does it really matter to Kate in general? Because her whole MO was that she wasn't trying to get married in the first place.
Yeah, she was gonna go back
She
to India,
Yeah, she
which
was gonna go back to India, so
yeah,
her status is not necessarily what mattered. It's her, sister status is her family status, which she's a part of the family. But her family also, she can at any point being like, "Well, I'm out of here. I'm not really part of the family. I'm adopted into it, or whatever the hell. I was married into it." So, not it didn't really surprise me because yes, it was building up to it kind of so much. So her having sex out of wedlock was kind of on brand for not only her but also Anthony.
well, Anthony has sex with everything, so that
Exactly. So, and she
it's
has
so
like
funny to me.
she has no concern for like societal standards whatsoever, as long as it, like, if it pertains to her.
Yeah, yeah. So the other thing we haven't talked about is Penn's mother and their new relative, which I think he's a cousin, the dad's cousin, something of that nature,
Yeah.
from America, I believe. And he's just like, he has these imaginary diamond mines or something where he's
I
like
think they
trying to hustle. He's
were
a
they
hustler.
like ruby mines or emerald mines or
It's something like
something like
that.
that?
They're definitely
Yeah.
gems. He was definitely broke as hell, and he was a hustler.
Yeah. And
And that whole dynamic with him and the mother, and then him being engaged by the mother, to the one of the older daughters, who's just the girl was an airhead.
even though
And
like,
she's
even though he turned out to be a complete dick, I kind of wanted to blame the mom because he had a whole plan
yep,
about helping the family by marrying this other wealthy family. All you had to do was sit down and shut the fuck up, and you
yep,
would have been all right.
yep,
But like, I know, like later on as a mother, she was so um into her, the protection of her girls. But your girls would have been fine. Like, this dude just came in here. You were upset because he put antlers on the fucking wall. That's
yep.
really that's really why you're upset. He
We
came in.
can't buy new dresses for this season. Wow. Like, that's literally, and I get it. Your husband was a gambler. He was swindling all your money. He was not good with the books. And unfortunately, even though we have integration when in terms of ethnicity or race, we don't have it in terms of basically the basically actually in any level. Like there's such a the caste system in this is so weird to me, because it's not just women and men. It's like women and men, and you have like the people on the side, like maybe your servant's brother could like fill out the
Mhm.
books, but you can't. It is so
Yeah.
weird who has like status and who doesn't. But like if you're a woman in this, I feel like you have no rights whatsoever, which is actually very historically accurate, because you could come from money and then your dad dies and you're unmarried and you have to marry somebody else, or your cousin will come and take your house, your money, and then you're just out on the
Mhm.
street, or he's marrying you off to somebody. It's like you had no value as a woman.
Yeah.
So, which,
Well, that's the thing though. He wasn't trying to marry off the girls or anything. He
yeah,
was trying to marry for himself. And she thought, oh, like, if he gets married, then, they're gonna take over like the Featherington household and blah 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 blah.
yeah,
But like, I think there's a whole like miscommunication in this entire season. Like, right? There's Everyone is just not telling people shit.
yeah,
And it just kind of spirals into this just crazy drama that happens when it's like, dude, if you would have just let her in on your plan, then y'all would have been all right. Like, if I don't know. It like, Kate, if you would just let your sister or your mom at least know, what fuck was happening with your family, y'all would have been all right. Why is
yep.
everybody lying to each other? I don't get it. Why is y'all lying?
I mean, it's not untrue. Like I feel like I don't even understand why. At first I thought Mary and Kate had this like elaborate plan, right, for Edwina. But then it became very apparent that Mary didn't even know all the details of what was
Yeah.
happening. And like Kate was just like, well, I'm going to do all this because, I need you guys to be settled. And then I'm going to go live my best life, which probably isn't my best life back in India, as a teacher or something. She's like, I'm going to teach or something. So she didn't even have a plan going back. Like they were going to be in the lap of luxury and she was going to get on a boat for God knows how long, go back to India and figure out her life and as alone, a woman alone in India. Like that is really strange. Like
I mean, she's a badass at riding horses and shooting guns. She'll be all right.
She's not gonna be riding guns or shooting guns and riding horses back in India.
Right? She's not gonna be riding guns.
No, none of that. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. And the dressmaker, her name just went right out of my head. Her teaming up with Penn.
Yeah. What is the dressmaker's name? Does it matter?
I'm looking at your comments, guys. So put her name in the comments below. We are gonna look at your comments in a minute, but I can't remember her name.
Delacroix.
Is that what it was? Delacroix?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I love that character because she's like, I just want to make dresses. Yeah. And I keep getting put in all of this BS, and I don't want to be. I don't know why you bring this to me.
She's this person who just wanted to open up her shop, make dresses. Yep. She's like super like popular, famous for it, whatever. She makes the best. And everyone keeps coming to her with like this shit. And it's like, fuck, why don't I just in my head I'm like, why don't I just pick up and move out of town? Like fuck.
Seriously.
I'm tired of being in everyone's
she has this look on her face like, look, don't ask, don't tell. Leave me alone. Like, why do you keep bringing this to me? I love her reaction. Like did you see this? No, I don't care.
No, exactly.
And when Penn asked her that, when Penn went to her shop and asked her, she looked like she was about to like hurt her. It was really weird. Penn was like, I'm gonna grab these scissors and I mean, honestly, I'm gonna be real with you. I would not put it past Penn to stab somebody to keep her secret. That's why I think she's gone, that far gone.
Yeah.
So
I agree. But they did have like a really smooth operation. I can't lie. Of her sewing the the pamphlets or whatever into the dresses and just kind of like delivering them that way. That was a smooth operation.
That was cool. But I just thought it was very interesting because initially she was kind of like, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I'm late. No, I don't want to know. Like, I just want to make my dresses, eventually be able to get into an area where they take me seriously as a dressmaker, in Paris or whatever. I just want you to leave me alone. And that is my if I was in this series, people are like, did you hear? No, and I don't want to. No. Shut up. Like, I don't want to know. So that is really interesting.
And it feels like just the season. I guarantee you, there are people who every fucking year just dreads the season. Like, oh, with this shit again. Like, because as a regular person, because we actually got to see what life is like on the other end, and people don't care. People don't give a fuck. And I feel like that would be my mentality of just not giving a fuck. Plus, what does everybody do? Let me ask this question. What do the people in these households do to gain their wealth and shit? Like, besides the cousin who was like an emerald, like, type.
Somebody said rubies in the comment. Yeah, Samantha's story said it was rubies. Yeah.
Okay, it was rubies. Okay, besides him, who was fake rubies, and it was glass, and he was lying because there's no fucking ruby mines in wherever he said fucking Chicago or some.
There are mines in Chicago.
But what? It's never, and I guess it's not important. But what the fuck do these families do? Like, they throw balls all fucking day. Like, they threw 1,000 fucking balls. They, get in everybody's business. How do you have time? Like, and I guess you're rich, but you're not working. Like, I don't see.
It's that old family money. You know how they roll in this series.
But who's keeping up with the money? I know Anthony. I know they were talking about Anthony.
Anthony was doing the books for his family. They did show him doing the books for his family.
Like, doing the books, and what he scribbled some shit in the paper in the book, and then he was.
Remember he did find out that Colin took some money out to go try and invest in the damn ruby mines because he's an idiot. He's like, I'm seeing that $500 is missing, Colin. Like, let's talk about this, Colin.
Yeah.
But no, I agree with you. I don't know how, since Penn's family is basically broke. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how they're eating. I'm like, I don't know how they're doing anything.
Well, you know, they couldn't really afford to pay their staff either.
Nope.
Like
They only
they
had
were,
that one maid left, right? And then everybody
yeah.
else was just gone. So like, and I don't know why she was sticking around. Maybe she got free board and stuff. So
What I mean, because what else is she like doing? So I ain't got nowhere else to go. I'm with y'all through thick and thin. Like I will forge like these papers to make sure that this bitch knows that her like dude doesn't like her anymore, and I'm good. Like that was season one, but you know I'm good. She has her uses. She's over here, you know, worried about like her job, and I really think that you need one person in your life that's down with you like that.
yeah. I
Yeah.
agree with that, but I'm thinking I'm on your camp. I like what Samantha said. It's like the CW shows. No one has to work. It's very true.
Mm,
Um, I feel like, first of all, I'm just gonna put it out there. This was only 8 episodes, but it
yeah.
felt like it was 20. Like it felt so damn long. I don't know what it was, but it felt so long. It's like one episode seemed to be four,
Yeah.
like 4 hours or 4 episodes in one.
Because they covered not only like a lot of like history, you know, with Anthony and his family, they covered a lot of development with characters like Eloise. And then we got like everyone had like a subplot going on somewhere except for Daphne. Daphne, she was just there to look pretty
She
and
was
be
just
like, hey,
walking
bitch,
around the
I'm-"
house.
yeah.
That's what it
Yeah.
was. Walking around the
So,
house.
but everyone had like their subplot. Even the queen had her own like little subplot going on. So it was just that's probably why it felt so long. Like, did we need to know about Benedict and his fucking schooling? And you know, who cares? Did we need to have Cole kind of go back to Colin, go back to Marina and be like, I still want you, baby, and her telling him basically fuck off? No. But I think there were probably some of the things that writers thought that people needed to tie up in like from season one, which is probably why this felt so long.
It did though. I mean, I was sitting there. I think me and River were watching it at night, and then we are just like, "Is this ever ending? This is a long ass episode. What is happening?" Like it just went on and on and on. And I'm like,
You're
"Okay, this is."
you're looking, it's like, oh fuck, I'm only like 15 minutes in.
Like I thought it was 2 hours. And I'm not saying I disliked it. I'm just saying it was definitely slower in pace than season one. So like, and again, this could just because maybe deep down I'm a pervert and there weren't enough like sex scenes. So like it didn't get all excited. Yeah. So then it was like, oh, they're not doing it. So we have to actually watch this. Okay, cool.
So,
Um,
so my question to you, which you know, for this exact reason, which is why it's like slow burn is cool, but was it like too slow? But my question to you is, did you find which season did you find more memorable?
season one.
Season one.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Um, is
And
there
I think they evolved a little bit more, some not in a very good way in season two, but I feel like there were so many plots going on in season one, but you remembered them all. And in
mm,
season two, I'm sitting here like, what else happened? Like it was so slow. like you would think I had more time to process, but like it was just slow. So like it's I don't know, definitely a slower pace, slower burn than
muddling
season one.
the main plot a little bit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I can
Me
see that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I feel the same way. I highly enjoy like season one was really gripping. And not to say that season two wasn't. It was just like you said, there was so much to keep up with that I'm like, there are things that I don't even like care about anymore. Like um the character getting his what was it? I think it was it Anthony's friend who had the bar or the gentleman's club?
oh yeah, the one that was a boxer. Why did his
Yeah.
name come out of my head? Yeah, he
Yeah.
was Simon's friend, wasn't
He
he?
he was he Simon's friend?
Yeah, I thought he was Simon's friend.
Um Maybe. And anyway, but you see what I'm saying? Like he
Yeah.
even had like this whole I'm gonna start a gentleman's club and do this and this and we're not struggling anymore. And the at the end it's like, oh hey, because you're an upstanding person and you didn't, take this crap, I'm gonna as a Bridgerton, I'm gonna like tell all my friends to come here. And it's like, cool. Did I need this though? Like you guys could
I
have.
mean, I'm glad we get to see that you progress financially and you're
Yeah.
building up your life outside of getting your head boxed in.
Yeah.
But on top of that, I mean, no, we didn't need that, honestly. We really didn't. But I mean, I guess we just had to have that subplot because we weren't having
Yeah.
the orgies anymore. We had to fill up that time. So
Yeah.
it's like,
I also feel like there was no. I'm glad Eloise actually had a connection um with the guy that she was kind of going out and seeing, and there
yeah.
was this whole thing about her being a part of the resistance. Oh my gosh, no! But then in the end, it felt like there was no real payoff to that either.
Yep. The only
Um,
payoff to that was it destroyed her relationship with Penn because she saw that Penn was willing to do anything to keep her
mhm,
secret, including destroy her life, her reputation, and her love life.
yeah,
And so I felt Eloise was very justified in telling Penn, and
fuck off.
quote, basically, fuck up. I never want to see your face again.
Yeah.
And Penn saying, well, I do things. I don't just dream them, Eloise. No, you're being a bitch. That's what you're doing.
Like you're
You
just
are
jealous
not
because
doing
you
anything.
only say that you want to do stuff, but I actually do it.
No,
I'm
you're a
great.
ghostwriter. The ghostwriter persona of you is actually doing it. You
Yeah.
Penn is not doing anything but staying in the same spot. It was a wallflower in the corner, and
Mhm.
that's what I don't think Penn has gotten in her head. I understand society treats her the way that it does, and so it makes her this way. But and her mother is definitely not a role model on any scope of imagination. But at the same time, we saw a little bit of what she was like when she was with Marina. Remember in season
Yeah.
one when she was basically telling about her being pregnant and all of that stuff, and basically
Mhm.
implying to Colin, it's not your baby. Like she was very, very pro.
Mm.
I'm worrying about myself and nobody else.
Yeah. She
So
was so manipulative and
yeah,
still is manipulative. And
yeah,
I think season 2 you just get to see even more of that. And even it kind of hurt because on one hand it's like, yeah, like this chick shouldn't be, going and having sex with this dude just so he, she can.
she pretend it's his baby. Yeah,
Yeah. And on the other hand, like you don't even care about him. You really just care about your chances with him.
yep.
And that's it. It's like, oh,
You didn't
Colin
care
is
that this
my
was gonna break
friend.
his heart or all
Yeah.
of that. And that
Yeah.
girl was gonna be destitute with a baby. You just cared
Uh-huh.
about. She cares. Penn is for Penn. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
All right, we have like 8 minutes, so almost a little bit over 8 minutes. Let's look at some comments. Hi, Maria. What did you guys think about the slow burn between Kate and Anthony? Just that. It was a slow burn. It was very
Yeah.
slow, and they were sniffing each other a lot like dogs. It was very interesting visually
Yeah.
to watch. Very. And yeah, answer this. We have not read the books
No.
at all. Hello, Chastin. Hello, Dee Marie. Anthony definitely met his match in Kate. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to fist fight at times. I was waiting for it. I'm like, this is going to be forget the sexual tension. They're about to just completely KO each other, like
Yeah.
hardcore.
But even their first meeting though with like the horseback riding thing, at that moment you're like, okay, they're definitely going to be playing
It's
a
Elizabeth
lot off of
Darcy.
each
That is absolutely an
Yeah.
Elizabeth Darcy, the Jane Austen situation right there. So I'm like, this is what's happening. This is Darcy. That's Elizabeth. So I got it. It is what it is. But I really thought they were going to fist fight. I'm serious.
Yeah.
I really think Kate should have just been honest with her sister and mother about their money situation. So, like, okay, Brunette, I have a question for you. Come on, Jam. Work with me.
Okay.
Why didn't the mother know they were broke?
Okay. I don't think the mother probably didn't know they were broke. I think the I think she didn't know the stipulations the grandparents put on Edwina's marriage. Or like prospects, to be married. Why did they only tell like Kate, who they absolutely like just dislike. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure it's like covered somewhere. But you would think that they would tell the mom, like, hey, the daughter that we actually like, she needs to marry someone in high wealth just so we can give her this money, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I don't know. Like maybe they thought Kate would, if she found out they were broke, she would leave, and then that'd be more. I don't know.
I
I
mean, the
don't
way
fucking
they wrote like, if you really look at the progression of the storyline, it did seem like the mother just did not understand that they didn't have any money. Like,
yeah.
it was like Kate did the books, and somehow food appeared on the table, but they don't know where it came from.
I mean, Kate took over the father role, I
Yep,
guess.
he took
So
over the business, and I'm like,
yeah,
that is crazy. So I'm like, what were they doing? And like, they literally, the sister had no idea they were even in debt.
no,
I'm like, Kate's brilliant. Like, she is brilliant. Maria, where's my Owl House review? The episodes are getting crazy. It's coming. I promise I'm going to have a whole Owl House recap of what's happening so far. So I'll be scheduling that
woo.
soon. I love that show. I randomly read the books when I was younger because my grandmother had the old school paperbacks. I keep trying to get into the show, but it's just not clicking. That's fair. I mean, I've always loved books more than the live action tellings for the most part anyway. So they always cut everything out or change things.
You always kind of like figure there are going to be things like different. They're going to take liberties with the show versus the books. And that's really just because they are trying to get a little bit more, like I said earlier, of a newer audience and trying to like grab the best of both worlds. But literally everywhere does that. I don't know one picture perfect movie or television accurate portrayal of a book.
Yeah, I agree with that. I actually agree with that, except for The Watchmen, because somebody Zack Snyder decided to do the exact damn movie based on every panel of that graphic novel. But Eloise just doesn't want to be tied down to any man. I thought Eloise was a bisexual character. I was like, if they were going to have like a queer storyline, I thought it was definitely going to be with Eloise, and then she's going to basically tell her mom, the reason I don't want to do this is because I don't want to be with a man. Like, I mean,
like, I'm gay. I actually felt that way for a little bit with I really do feel like Benedict would have been bisexual too if they had just like explored it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway.
Yeah, this is definitely missed opportunities in that. So I know Penn really did throw Eloise under the carriage, so to speak. She really did. I mean, she was like, "You're my best friend. I must protect my best friend by destroying her life."
Everything. The one thing that people care about, reputations. Let me destroy all of that shit.
All of it. You don't need a reputation. What is that? Like,
fuck your family.
You're rich. You'll be fine. Like, Penn is just that girl. Tell you, the villain of this story is Penn. I don't care what anybody says. She's the villain of this story. In the books, Colin is the one that finds out that Penn is Lady Whistledown. Oh, wow.
Oh, interesting.
I would love to see how that played out because Colin's an idiot. So, like,
maybe he's smart. Maybe he's smarter in the books, which is why he found out.
He's just not smart in the show. The scene between the Queen's husband and Edwina was so sweet. Yeah, that was a moment that I thought Edwina was kind of like, this is a very strong character, because to do that in front of the Queen, that could have completely backfired on her.
Yeah.
So really I did love that. I actually love that she left her wedding when she was marching down the aisle. She didn't just go through with it. You know, she actually said, I'm not going to do this because you're lying to me, and this is messed up. And so she refused to go through with the wedding, which is something you don't do to the Queen in the palace on the wedding day. So
also something very like bizarre, like when what was it? She when Kate dropped her bracelet or whatever the fuck it was, when you bent down to go get it, and Anthony bent down to help. Why the fuck did you guys feel like that was like the appropriate time to be like, oh yeah, we're touching, we're so close to each other right now, like you're getting married? That like, do you?
He was trying to look down her corset.
And so it's like, you do know people can see you, right? That was such a weird moment to me. If there was any time you needed to act your fucking Sunday's best, it was at your own wedding.
Well, it was always like that. The scene where she was getting out of the boat and she was almost fell, and then like he like grabbed her and like almost fell. I think he fell in the water, but he went to reach her hand, even though the guy that was her suitor in the moment, was there with his hand out, and it's like, Anthony, you're supposed to be over here with Edwina. You know what's happening. So yeah, I do think that there were lots of moments where you just had to be effing stupid to not see that they were into each other.
I never met a group of adults, especially like one in particular who has fucked before, who just could not keep your shit together. Like, that's, I don't know how they smell to each other, but it must be fucking phenomenal.
Especially since I guess they do bathe. I have seen them in the bath at times, but I don't feel like they bathe every day. So to be sniffing each other on that level, especially after you ride horses, is not something I recommend. But you know what? It's fine. You do you. The actor that portrayed Simon had just signed on for one season and chose not to come back. He betrayed a good character, but his main story was done. But who knows? He may be back part-time. Yeah, he probably was like, this isn't about me, so I don't need to be in it.
But I can make it about you, Simon. Come to me. I know I'm married, but
I like this. When he smelled her, I was like, damn. So was I. But probably not for the same reason. No. Like, damn, girl, you need to go take a bath. But I don't know, God. Maybe this is what we're doing wrong in our marriages, Jam. We need to go sniff our spouses all day.
You know what? I'm gonna try that and let you know how it turns out.
Yeah, you let me know. If it works for you, I'm gonna do it over at this house.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody in the comments, if there's somebody you like, sniff them.
Sniff the hell out of them. But do it slowly, like you're actually having a sinus infection. Trying to breathe in.
According to Bridgerton, it works, man.
No, I need you to do it like you're shooting Flonase up your nose. Yeah. We are not sponsored by Flonase.
That's it.
Lady Danbury is the gangster of Bridgerton. Yes, she is. Her and that cane. She has her own version of the Shaft theme walking around.
Oh, please. I wish they would do a Lady Danbury Shaft.
But she was like, she just walks in the room and everyone's like, oh, she's here.
Yeah. Like the whole air changes.
Yeah. Even when they were falling out with Anthony's family and she was there and people were looking at, and they were just kind of looking at her. She was looking at him like, what you gonna say? Nothing.
How dare you?
Along, you vultures.
I also will say when I do like the part where and this has not Lady Danbury, but when Kate and Anthony were dancing, and she was like, I think they make whatever she says, I think they make a good couple. Don't y'all? Basically, I think they're great. Agree with me.
Absolutely, 100%.
Oh yes, quite. Mm-hmm.
You are my entourage for the moment until I go over there. Remember in season 1, they had that club where all the former wives and wives of people all got together, played, I guess poker or whatever they were playing. See, I missed stuff like that because we didn't have any of the women attached. They didn't get to be in the underground. And I think that's where this kind of suffered, was that we didn't get to see the other side of, society. We only got to see it through Eloise going to the print shop and being on that side of town. So we didn't get to see all the stuff that we normally would see. And that's probably what I missed, a lot. It says Lady Danbury is Simon's WAD mentor, WAD mentor.
WAD?
WAD?
What is a WAD?
Maybe it was a typo. Oh, I'm gonna say was Simon's mentor. We'll just go with that. I know she was friends with his mother, and she didn't like how the father was treating her. Okay. So that's the thing. Lady Danbury has some of the best quotes sayings on Bridgerton. Your regrets are denied. Yes, true. I'm gonna use that in life with my daughter when she's like, I didn't do the dishes. I'm like, your regrets are denied. Denied. Oh Lord. Let's see. And then of course my favorite comment, it's like the CW shows, no one has to work, which is very true. If you watch any shows on the CW, you literally can lose your job, but you can still go on trips, pay your rent, your life does not change in any way.
Actually, it changes for the better.
Yeah, I mean,
that's it. Maybe we just all are doing it wrong. We need to live in a badly written CW show, and then we would all have this amount of money somewhere where we can go travel to Rome or somewhere, go to outer space. Sure, why not? Fuck it.
Well, maybe that's why all these shows are being canceled on the CW. They're getting tired of paying their mortgages. Too soon. Okay, guys, we are almost 4 minutes past an hour. I think we've pretty much exhausted everything we were going to say about Bridgerton season 2, but if we let something out, or we left something out, should I say, please put it in the comment section below, because we will answer those questions for you. Let us know what other shows me and Jam should watch if you want us to review something going forward, because I'm sure that Jam will be back on my channel now that I've kidnapped her for today. So
please let us know. We need your feedback. We crave it.
Let us know what we should be watching so we can watch it and then talk about it for you, because we have no problem doing that on these lovely Saturdays. So there you go. Make sure to like and subscribe to Core Life Jam. She has some very cool videos you would really enjoy. She's crazy. I love her to death, so you will love her too. So make sure to like and subscribe to her channel. And guys, as usual, if it is day for you, have a good day. If it is evening for you, have a good evening. And we will see you in our next video and in our next stream.